Hey guys, this is Molly bringing you videos on conscious growth and helping you to expand your awareness. So I'm making this video today because I feel like there's a lot of divide going on at the moment with regards to all of this vaccine stuff and all the anti-vaxxer chat that's happening. And I normally wouldn't comment too much on this, but I feel like it's been coming up a lot lately, and I wanted to share my thoughts on, I guess, the greater perspective on what I see happening in terms of personal freedom, really. And look, I'm not denying that there are certainly some crackpots out there, but there's also a huge majority of people who are really just questioning things. They're asking questions. They're wondering whether it's the right thing for them. They're kind of doing more research. They're thinking more about it. They're wanting to know whether it's the right decision. And maybe they're making that decision that it's not the right decision for them. And look, this doesn't make these people anti-vaxxers. Just because we decide that something isn't for us does not mean we're anti it. And the best way I can describe this is, I guess this is what I kind of see going on at the moment. Let's say we've got two friends, Sam and Tim, and Sam and Tim are hanging out with grandma. I don't know why they're hanging out with a grandma. And let's say that grandma offers Sam an apple muffin, and Sam asks her what's in it. This doesn't mean that Sam hates apple muffins. It doesn't mean he's anti-muffins. It doesn't mean he's throwing that muffin back in grandma's face. It doesn't mean he's running around town telling everyone not to eat apple muffins. Even if grandma is a well-renowned 3 Michelin star chef, it's totally okay for him to ask her what's in it. It's totally okay for him to say, not for me. And let's be honest, maybe he's allergic to something in the muffin. Maybe his body just doesn't feel like a muffin right now. Maybe he's just not hungry. And on the other hand, you've got Tim, who wants the muffin. He takes it and he has it, and that's fine. Both Sam and Tim are happy with the fact that each other just did whatever they wanted. There was no drama. No one cared. But what happens when grandma all of a sudden says, "You guys can't leave my house until all the muffins get eaten"? All of a sudden, Tim might not be too thrilled that Sam's not eating muffins. He might even get pretty pissed off that Sam not eating muffins means that he can't really go home. And that all of a sudden it's starting to feel like the fact that Sam's not eating muffins is actually stopping him from having his freedom, from being able to leave. And on the other hand, Sam might start getting pretty annoyed and irate at Tim. Like, why do I have to eat the muffins just so you can leave? Like, why do I have to eat the muffins just so we can get out of here? Why do I have to give up my personal freedom and have to have this thing I don't want so that you can leave and you can have your freedom? And so Sam and Tim end up getting at each other, getting really annoyed, spending all of this energy like yelling things. No doubt that all of a sudden Tim's calling him an apple muffin hater, and like we start putting all this energy in. But neither of them have kind of realized that grandma is the one who made this rule that they couldn't leave unless all the muffins got eaten. And maybe grandma has a little bit too much power, because maybe grandma's got a bit of an agenda happening. Maybe grandma doesn't want to be alone, so she's more than happy to watch them go at one another and no one's having anything to say to her. And look, maybe it's a silly example, but if you're someone that's sitting there thinking, oh, if these guys just got the vaccine, then I'd be able to go traveling, we'd be able to get out of lockdown, then you're missing the point. Because is it really that these people are stopping you from getting out of lockdown or, going traveling? Or is it that the government's made a law or a rule that says, we have to be at 80% before we can get out of lockdown and before people can go traveling? Isn't it actually that the law is what is creating that lack of freedom for you? Not that somebody's decision is actually stopping you from doing those things. And this is the thing. Someone choosing not to have the vaccine is completely within their right. It's their personal choice. It's their personal freedom to do that and to decide for themselves. And we all want that. We all want the freedom to be able to choose whatever we want. That's a good thing. We all want that. So them actually choosing, I don't want that, it's not actually about you. And their choice doesn't actually stop you from feeling free, from feeling safe, from all of these things that perhaps were made to feel like they are. Somebody's choice, somebody's action over there isn't actually responsible for our happiness and our freedom. And it can feel like that because it's portrayed a lot of that to us, but it's not the case. And it's a good thing that people are enacting their freedom because that affects all of us. What happens if down the line you want to enact your free will, but you can't anymore because that's not a thing and we're not allowed? And look, this might be a silly example, but let's say that down the line, government decides that everyone has to eat a vegan diet. I'll bet you that so many people would lose their mind over that. They wouldn't want to do that. They'd want to keep eating meat. And so they should be able to. You should be able to choose for yourself what it is that you eat. You should get that choice. But what happens if, let's say, the media and the government start putting together posters and videos that start going out and, maybe it's someone eating a lettuce cup and there's a quote that says, I'm going vegan for my community and the planet. Now all of a sudden, your decision to keep eating meat looks a little bit selfish, right? But how wrong is that? Your decision is your choice. There shouldn't be a moral implication on you. You shouldn't be judged for the fact that you actually want to keep eating meat. It's not right to then start having that implication on you. And so this is where we have to really be aware of the fact that it is our choice that we really want. It is our freedom to choose that we want. Because it might be about vaccine right now, but it might not be tomorrow. And so that's why it's really not about the vaccine at all. It's not about the vaccine. It's not about vegan diets. It's about personal freedom, personal choice, being able to choose. Because that's what a democracy is. And actually, we have to realize that we can support one another even though we are different and that we choose differently. Essentially, we all have different feelings and thoughts and values, and we're going to want to make different choices, but we can support one another even though we don't choose the same. And that's what a democracy is. What a democracy is not is saying we need 100% of this vaccine or, you get out. Like, how is it okay that we're saying, we're punishing people, we are shaming people, labeling people just for not getting on board with something? That's a dictatorship. We can't expect everyone to act as everyone does because that's not a democracy. That doesn't make sense. We have to acknowledge that everyone has different reasons for doing things. And actually, we can be supportive of one another and realize, hey, he's not making the same decision as I would. That's okay. I respect that he has a different choice to make. You know what? We're not all that different either. The thing is, two people can really value the exact same thing. Family, let's say. One person might choose to have the vaccine because they want to take care of their family. They're worried about their family's health and they want to make sure everyone's protected by taking the vaccine. Then over here, you've got someone who's equally, they care about their family. Maybe they're a little bit worried about the vaccine. They're not sure what's going to happen. They don't really want to trust in that. They care about their family, so they choose not to have it. Both people value the exact same thing. They're just making a different decision. And that's totally okay. It's a good thing. This is what we have to realize, is that it's actually about a democracy. It's actually about realizing that people will make decisions that we wouldn't make. It's not about berating someone because they didn't do what we wanted them to do. And so some of this actually comes back to asking ourselves, like, what am I doing where I'm actually creating more harm for myself? Because if I'm vilifying someone for actually enacting their choice and their personal freedom, I'm actually harming myself. Because at some point, I'm going to want to make a decision that maybe I'm in that minority. Maybe I'm being vilified against in the media, and like, I want to enact my choice, but I don't get to enact that choice because it's been decided for me that I get punished and I lose my job and I can no longer go to a shop and I can no longer do this, because we've all gotten on board with the fact that everything should be 100%. We should all be on the same page all the time. And it's just not reality. The reality is that we're all getting at one another at the moment, when really no one's choice is actually impacting one another's freedom. It goes higher than that. And we have to recognize that someone choosing and making their choice doesn't actually impact my happiness and my freedom and my security and my safety. And it may feel that way, but that's not true at all. What's true is there's been a law and a rule that's been put in place that's saying at this percentage, then we can have our freedom. It's not this person at all. It's not these minorities that we're spending all of our energy attacking or, shaming or labeling. And it's just about having that awareness. And I think from my perspective, when I look at this, it's, personal freedom to me is, yes, it's the freedom to be able to do what you want and to be able to go traveling. But more importantly than that, it's freedom of choice. It's being able to choose for yourself. And when we get on at everyone who's not choosing how we want them to choose and punishing them for it, that's scary. That's really scary. And that shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't be the case that people to stand up for their personal freedom of choice are having to give up having to maybe travel. We're probably going to have to quarantine when other people get to do what they want, not going to be able to go to shops, are losing their jobs to stand up for their personal freedom, which actually impacts all of us, because we all want that. We all want to be able to choose freely for ourselves. And we don't want to wait until it just impacts us. We have to realize that that actually impacts us at all times. So, yeah, I guess I'm sorry for the long rant, but this is, I guess, it's just something to be aware about. Of like, I know that a lot of stuff around the vaccine and everything can be really anxiety inducing. And a lot of the time, it's because everyone's so frustrated. Everyone feels that they don't have their free will at the moment. And that's completely okay, but we have to be so careful about where we're projecting that energy, because at the end of the day, like I said, somebody else's choice doesn't actually impact your freedom. It might seem that way, but it goes higher than that. It actually comes from the construct that's above that. And so we have to realize that we can support each other. We can be like a united front, but choose differently. And we want that. We want to know that everyone has the right to choose, to think, to feel differently. That's a good thing. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this matter. I know it's a big topic and it can be very overwhelming, but I guess I just wanted to bring it to you in a bit of a different light. And yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you liked the video, please share it. And yeah, have a great day.